have two court decisions, one from a federal appeals court in Georgia and also the Supreme Court of Arizona, the state Supreme Court, made some news today. We're going to talk about that. And also, I want to just talk to you and encourage you with some of the statements coming from Jenna Ellis and Mayor Rudy Giuliani, although it was specifically a retweet. But I just feel so much comfort. I know feelings. Who cares about feelings? Who cares at all? We're reform folk. But maybe I'm more of a squish than other reform people. But I just have been observing the sides of the battle that we're on. On our side, we have people proclaiming faith, calling for people to return to Christ. And on the other side, we have a bunch of God haters. And I know that everyone on our side are not all Christians, even those who are calling people to pray and all that stuff. And I know we have a lot of charismatics who are actually pulling the weight for the rest of us Christians, let's be honest. And we don't always agree with everything the charismatics do. But I'm still thankful that at least our side is still trying to point people to God and are looking to and saying that. Anyway, so I want to talk about that and encourage you with that. Welcome to How to Build a Tent. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show, sharing the show with a friend. We continue to have amazing numbers, and thank you for that in a chaotic time that we live. Man, it's so hard to think, let me say it like this. We talk a lot about business, entrepreneurs, startup, economics, and all that stuff. But if the voting system collapses, if America collapses, and the politicians that are totalitarians, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, for as much as he, is making any kind of input whatsoever nowadays in the shape he's in, and the people that he appoints in his staff, and the lockdowns and all this stuff. See, coronavirus, the lockdowns, the election, all this stuff ties in together. It's all being, not that they were all started by the same person, not that it was all one evil plan necessarily, but these are all events and being used to further the reach of government. And we're just really in a place, guys, where if they succeed, there's not going to be really opportunities for small businesses anymore. There's going to be maybe ways for you to make money individually as a contractor, maybe somebody who can work independently, but growing successful businesses are going to be very bleak. And I would say probably impossible with the lockdowns, the restrictions, and the distancing, and the regulations, and the taxes. All of this stuff is being pushed by one group, and it's not our group, it's the other group. And the best chance we have of fighting back from that and getting back to being able to talk about business, being able to talk about providing for your family, being able to provide and talk about education for your kids, and talking about investing in the future, the best bet is to make sure that Donald Trump is going to be president because he won. Not even because it's Donald Trump, although I voted for him. This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is our society. This is our civilization. And just as when you are in business school, we talk about when you are thinking about starting an international business and what countries to sell your products and services in, one of the things you look for is the stability of the government and how fair and equitable the laws are and how much corruption there is. If we don't even have that in America anymore, then I just don't really see the point of it anymore. And that's why I'm fighting so hard for this. It's not just that my candidate lost. I've never fought like this before, even when I voted against Obama both times. To my knowledge, it seems like he won those fairly, but seeing what we see now and today, I mean, who knows how long they've been cheating for. But I conceded. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, especially the second term, I was wrong. But I accepted the elections. But this time you cannot accept the elections. We have the videotape, even though everyone's trying to say it's debunked. Not everyone. The mainstream media definitely is not debunked. In fact, they actually proved the point of the video. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But really, we need to fight, and we need to be calling our legislatures. You need to be calling your governors, especially in Georgia. Those guys are cowards. Arizona for not calling the legislature and going on a week break because of the coronavirus of Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Cowardice. It's all cowardice, and we need to be continuing to rail, continuing to call, continuing to email them. We are also part of the Fight Laugh Feast Network. The Fight Laugh Feast Network. I was trying to, come back to that somehow, and I was just way out of left field, but I'm rounding back. We're part of the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Go over to FLFnetwork.com, put an HTB in the memo field. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. For all those who are sharing the show and subscribing on YouTube, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for that. All right, this is what I want to do, share with you guys. And I shared this on Facebook a couple days ago. Jenna Ellis sent this out. This is the people that we are fighting along with. This is the people that we should be praying for, supporting, encouraging, and coming alongside and locking shields with. Jenna Ellis, we do not resign ourselves to the will of God, but rather recognize that the will of God is vastly superior and desirable in every particular, and therefore we should rejoice we are free from being resigned to our own will. Now, I just want you to imagine Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or any of that crew tweeting something like that. They would be skewered. They would be fried by their own side. The contrast is as far a contrast apart, or as far apart, as big of a contrast is probably the way to say it, as I've ever seen. And I am proud that the people that I'm fighting with, not to say that I'm doing as much as they're doing far more than I am, but that our side is saying things like that, is tweeting things like that. And I know that that's not enough. That's not all it takes. There's a lot of idolatry and compromise on our side, but at least we're holding on to the idea of Judeo-Christian principles. It's not enough. We need to continue to push people forward. We need to continue to encourage Christians like Jenna Ellis to continue to do and say these kinds of things. But check this one out. From 12 hours ago, this isn't from Rudy Giuliani, but he retweets this. America needs Christian values. And I would add to that, America needs Christ, but America needs Christian values. And Rudy Giuliani retweets this. That's the side that we are on, fighting for justice, for law and order, for truth to come out. We're not fighting to not count legitimate votes. We're not fighting to try to introduce fraud into the system, but we're trying to we're fighting for justice. We're fighting for what is right. We're fighting for what is noble. We're fighting for Christian values. We're fighting for how God would want us to conduct an election. We're fighting for how God would want us to run this country, the best of our abilities, the best system that has been ever devised by humanity, which I would have to think is because John Locke, two treaties of government, the founders taking Judeo-Christian principles. Again, I know the founders weren't all Christians, hence Judeo-Christian principles. There's diversity in the slogan, but we all agreed to submit to them. And that is what we're fighting for, is to return back to that. And it's becoming clearer and clearer. And it's so funny because we hear people that are not respectable. Brennan, or not Brennan. He is definitely not respectable. But Bannon, Steve Bannon, who opens his show, which I've just been listening to for the past couple of weeks. I haven't really listened to him ever before. Where he says, in the year of our Lord 2020. And that's how he starts off saying our date. In the year of our Lord 2020. When somebody like, what's his name? I've been called the reformed version of him. What's his name? He always yells, and he's always talking. He's like conspiracy theories and all those stuff. I'm blanking on his name, but he's the crazy guy who turns out not to be so crazy and actually has been right about a few things. He prays at a rally, and all that to say this is, I know that the prayers of the wicked are an abomination to Christ. And I know that not everyone on our side is Christian, and that even, the Republican Party isn't Christians. But I'm encouraged that there are people on our side at least doing that, at least giving lip service to finding ourselves and putting ourselves back on Christian values. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. And I know that I am being naively optimistic, and I want to be naively optimistic. I want to be optimistic because I don't feel the need in the moment in the war that we're in the trenches, to start shooting at my own side, shooting at the people in the trenches that are helping me achieve my objective and what I think we need to accomplish, because they don't do it the exact same way I do, or because I think that they're wrong, or I think that they're not, the exact the way I say things or do things the way I want them to. But the fact that they're fighting with me is I don't feel the need to criticize and critique and tear down people. And I've been seeing that the last couple of weeks on our side, is people nitpicking and calling people out and saying people are frauds. I mean, if you're a fraud, you can be called out as a fraud. But there's like, oh, I don't know about this information. And oh my gosh, this person, he voted for a Democrat once. It's like, we got to stop that, guys. We got to stop that. Do you notice how the Democrats never do that to themselves? Do you realize that if we were Democrats, the Democrat Party in the states would have already taken the electoral votes from the Republican Party? We would have already done it. It would have been over. It would have been a done deal weeks ago. But because we're the Republicans and we're cowardice and we are the pure party that can't have any people with all different perspectives or people that aren't 100% on board, and we got to fight them and we got to call them out, that can get us in trouble sometimes. Maybe we shouldn't do that as much. And again, I'm talking specifically here in the political world and the cultural world, not Christian world. Obviously, from a spiritual Christian perspective in the Bible, we should be calling people to repentance to the Bible and not be tolerant of sin. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying there. All right, so let's talk about the court cases. But first, we need to talk to you about Samaritan Ministries. How are you paying for your health care? As you're considering options, take a look at Samaritan Ministries, a community of Christians who help pay one another's medical bills, all without the use of insurance. A broken bone, cancer, pregnancy, medical emergency. As a Samaritan member, you have control over your health care choices. Medical bills are sent to Samaritan Ministries. They help you get fair pricing and notify the members who will pray for you and send you money to help pay your shareable medical bills. Healthcare sharing is biblical and affordable. Samaritan Ministries has 3 programs offering options that could fit your budget. Every month, members send their share amount directly to another member. A family membership of 2 or more ranges from $155 to $600 a month, and a one-person membership can be as low as $75 a month. Visit SamaritanMinistries.org/howtobuildatent to see which sharing program is right for you. You can become a member at any time of the year, even today. That's SamaritanMinistries.org/howtobuildatent. SamaritanMinistries.org/howtobuildatent. This is a great solution if you are not happy with your healthcare. Check them out. SamaritanMinistries.com/howtobuildatent. Oh, no. SamaritanMinistries.org/howtobuildatent. Excuse me. All right. So what happened today or yesterday, because you're going to be listening to this the next day, in Georgia? It was funny. I was listening to one of the cases that were being brought. Sidney Powell was there, and they were making their arguments for the court to hear the case, or the defendants were arguing for dismissal. And what happened was they streamed it online. For some reason, you can't record it and you can't share it afterwards, so you can just stream it online. It's a weird rule in courts. Where the judge came out, he started talking about, and he summarized the positions of both sides. And even in the summary, guys, it's really weird, because you think of judges being impartial and you think of them as being fair and just equitable and going to do what is according to the law. You're going to take both cases, compare it to the law, and do what's best fitting to the law. But even in his summation, there was just dripping disdain for the ask for these federal issues to be tried in federal court. And you just knew from the moments he started summarizing what was going to happen, he was going to dismiss the case. And sure enough, that's what he did. The defendants got to talk for like 10, 15 minutes. And then Sidney Powell got to make her case, which I thought was pretty compelling. And then the defendants got to close again. And the judge was asking Sidney Powell questions and things like that. So that got dismissed. The judge, who's apparently a Bush appointee and part of the Federalist Society or whatever, I don't know what that means. Like, we're supposed to, as conservatives, think, oh, a Bush appointee? Oh, the Federalist Society? Then we better not question anything that this judge does. I feel like we've heard that a few times in Pennsylvania and Georgia, and that's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that we shouldn't be able to question, or we should just shut our mouths because it wasn't an Obama appointee. I don't know about you, but I was not a big fan of the Bushes. And I don't really think that the Bushes are going to be appointing judges that are going to uphold the rule of law every time. And I don't know too much about the Federalist Society. I understand the name, relates to the Federalists. And I agree with the Federalists for most part. But just because you're part of a society doesn't mean I agree with you either. But anyway, so this was a judge as part of the Federalist Society. It's like people in the Bushes don't really hate Trump, or so their judges definitely couldn't hate Trump either. But it got dismissed, and it looks like Sidney Powell, and I believe I heard confirmation of it, as Sidney Powell is going to appeal it to the Supreme Court of the United States, which in Pennsylvania, the court that's going, or the case that is going to, we're going to hear about today sometime, I think in the morning, Alito is asking for the submissions to be done by the morning, and that we should hear if it's going to go to the Supreme Court or not today. Maybe even tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy week. I told you so. But Ted Cruz is going to be arguing the case in front of the court, which that's going to be awesome. He's done that. This will be his 10th time, I guess, in the Supreme Court. So it looks like that case in Georgia is going to be appealed to the Supreme Court. And I just wonder, I don't know what the exact term of it is, but it's when like there's numbers of cases coming up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can decide to like hear them all at once and kind of make a decision for one and for all, instead of having to hear like 20 cases. They can just make one decision because they're all close enough together. I really feel like that's what's going to happen. I really think that that's going to happen sooner than later. So we'll see if that happens this week. We'll see if it happens as this show comes out. Remember, I'm recording this a day before, if I could be a prophetic person. And Arizona, let's see. This is just breaking right before I came in. So we'll end with this good news, and I don't really have too much commentary on it. But Arizona's Supreme Court will review the appeal in Republican lawsuit pertaining to the election. And this is specifically for throwing out votes that were illegal and saying that those electoral votes should go to Arizona. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but this is the first state Supreme Court hearing that's being agreed to hear upon. I know that there was appeals courts and they were dismissed and they're going to the Supreme Court. That was the federal track. But I think this is the first Supreme Court in the state track for the state of Supreme Court. So I'm really encouraged by that. There's going to be a lot of great things happening. Buckle up, stay tuned, pay attention, be informed. Don't listen to the normal mainstream media. They're garbage. They're gaslighting you. They're propaganda at this point. Find people that you trust that give you accurate information. Follow the lawyers, follow the attorneys, and that are, in the cases. And follow the trusted news sites that are online. There's great journalists that are online that aren't part of the big media stuff. So make sure that you're following and trusted people. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Be praying. Get involved. Call your legislatures. Call the governor. Call the governor of Georgia, even if you don't live there. Tell him to grow a spine. And make sure that you're fighting, doing all that you can. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.